Welcome back to Hasbro's Hide. Working again our 6.5 Creedmoor, and this is we're going to be shooting our custom Savage 110 Desert Tactical action. Now, it is set up with a Excalibur barrel now and in a KRG Bravo chassis. And so, you know, it's really exceptional. It still has the Accu trigger in it. I have another trigger to put in there, but I just haven't found the need yet to do so. But we'll see how it goes. But today, what I want to do is I want to shoot Sierra Matchking bullets. I've not shot them in this rifle before, and so we'll see how this barrel reacts to them. They're 140 grain Sierra Matchkings, and so we'll see how we do there. They've been incredibly accurate in almost any rifle I shoot them in 308, 5.56, etc. They've just been really, really accurate bullets, so we're going to see how they do today. We're going to use H4350 powder. Now, this is like the magic powder, supposedly, for 6.5 Creedmoor. But I've had good luck with other things, Stay-Ball and different things like that. But this is certainly a good powder, so we're going to use this to shoot with. We're going to use Winchester standard large rifle primers. They have been quite good for me in the past, and precision loads. You wouldn't necessarily think so. They're not quote-unquote match primers, but they do quite well. So we're going to use those. Going to use brand new Alpha Munitions brass. Now, Alpha, if you don't know them, they're very high-end brass. And so this is very high quality brass. It's packaged in, these heavy cases and boxes and packaged in foam. So they do an excellent job of protecting the brass before it gets to you. And then you have this nice case to shoot from if you want. But the one thing I will do, it's like a lot of brass you get, the necks may not be perfectly round when you get them because they're kind of bulk packaged or loosely packaged. And maybe even in the manufacturing process, they get slightly dinged around. These don't really appear that way. But I just always, since I'm not going to do a full-length resize on this brand new brass, Alpha doesn't seem to really need it. I am going to go ahead, though, and just to get consistent neck tension, run a mandrel die on it. Now, this mandrel die I really have set up for neck turning, okay? But what it really does, it just has a guide rod down in there that's sized specifically for the diameter of this bullet with a couple thousandths neck tension. So it'll be a couple thousandths small of the bullet diameter itself. Actually, it's a thousandth and a half small. And so you know the neck tension you're going to get based on the thickness of the brass. Now, Alpha's brass has been very consistent on wall thickness. So that's why I think I can just jump to that, not neck turn or anything. But we need to fire form these in any case. And then I'll recheck them. And if we need to neck turn at that point, I'll do that. But I have found no need so far in the Alpha Munitions brass to neck turn. We'll go ahead and throw our powders. I will go ahead and prime these off camera. Since YouTube, we just can't show every step of the reloading process. So I won't. I'll follow the guidelines. And I'll have these primed. We'll just throw powder. We'll seat some bullets. And then we'll hit the range. So let me get these done off camera. And we'll see you when we throw powder. All right, now we're working on our powder throws. The way I do it with my system is I use the RCBS Chargemaster Lite to throw a 10th low. And I trickle up using our Creedmoor Sports TRX 925 laboratory scale, which is a very accurate scale. And so you'll see 40.2 here on the RCBS, and it's pretty accurate. But then you trickle up here to 40.3, which is our lowest charge here. And that's, 40.29, right? So I do it plus or minus 0.02 for my precision reloading. Accuracy of the scale is actually plus or minus 0.03. And so you just got to do some testing there. So it's incredibly accurate. That's great. The resolution on the scale is 0.01, but its true accuracy is 0.03. And you can see that in the previous video where we did an extensive statistical study on that. But anyway, so that's what we do. Throw 40.2, 1/10 low, trickle up to our target, dump our powder. Now, one of the things that might help you if you're new to reloading is when you do your powder and you do load development where you're changing charges all the time, take your tray and mark minus to plus, starting low and work yourself up. It'll save you a lot of headaches if you flip your tray around when you're working or get yourself disoriented on what powder charge is where. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll load 2 rows of each powder charge. So I'm going to shoot 10 rounds of each powder charge. That way we'll get the gun warmed up, but we'll also see then if one 5-round group looks good, we'll shoot another one to back it up so we don't get some false data, which can happen quite often. So anyway, I'll finish these charges and get these things loaded up, and then we'll seat our bullets. All right, now we're seating our bullets. I've backed our seating die out, so we load them long initially. We're going to load to 2.800 inches in length from overall cartridge length. And so let's see how we did. Backing it out, re-zero everything. Let's see if I backed it out enough. Nope, I backed it out short. So I gotta pull this bullet. I'll just slightly drive it out and reseat it, and we'll do this again. All right, back to seating die out. Let's try this again. Yeah, that was going to be long because you feel it just barely seated the bullet. So we'll get it there close. I have our Hornady die set with a micrometer on it. So yeah, 2.8545. So we should be able to go here. That's 5, 10, 15. All right, so that should get us within, I think, about 15 to 20 thousandths. I think I am close. Actually, forgot the first 5 I counted, so we're 10 thousandths off. So on the Hornady die set, the custom grade die set with this micrometer adjustment, it's up on top of the screen, you can't see it. It's a really nice system. It's about a $30 add-on to any of their custom grade dies to put that micrometer on there. And then you can see I adjusted it to 10 thousandths and I got 10 thousandths. So it's a beautiful system. All right, we're going to continue seating all the dies. As you go up in the powder charge, we're getting to a more full case, but it's not full enough it should compress. So I don't think I'll have any overall length changes. But watch for that, and then we'll see at the range. All right, we're working on our third powder load of 40.9 grains now. First target, that would be the top target, center right. Get the temperature out. We should be good and cool now. Barrel was getting pretty warm, so giving it about 10 minutes this time. Ah, sorry, I didn't reset my stats. I'll have to delete that one out. Stand by. All right, now we're gonna get stats on this one, but it want to be a 4-round group for this one. Let's do it again. Shot number 2, 40.9 grains. Definitely stepping up on velocity a little bit. Well, that's not a bad group. That's probably half or less MOA. See what it measures like, but it's better. Still a little bit horizontal stringy, but that part is getting better. The group tightened up. Yeah, that's more like it. If you see that well in the camera, 2.3 standard deviation. You can tell it's just shooting better. The rest is probably me out there. So 2756, standard 2.3. So let's see if it repeats again. All right, I think we're still cool enough to keep shooting. So we'll shoot these 5 and then we'll chamber chill the barrel again. Shoot the bottom right target of the top target. This will be our last group of 40.9 grains. Yeah, this one's opening up a bit. Probably should have chilled the barrel. I don't know, it didn't feel that hot, but I'm definitely keeping some heat in the barrel shooting these rounds. Yeah, that group opened up. That's too bad. But that could have been me. I mean, it's okay, 7.7 standard deviation, but the last one was 2.3, so not as good. All right, welcome back in from the range. I thought I'd start by taking a look at our brass. Now, this is our lowest charge, going after our highest charge of 41.5 grains. And this is 40.3, I believe. Yeah, 40.3 grains down here in the end. So there's 2 rows of each charge. But just kind of looking at the quality and condition of the primers for pressure signs, there's really nothing to see here at all. All the edges are still rounded, even up to our highest powder charge. There's no cratering or any other signs, and the primers, they're just all consistently. This is maybe slightly getting flat here, but nothing bad, and the edges are still rounded. So classical pressure signs were okay. So let's take a look at our targets. All right, now taking a look at our targets. Now, I'll have some stats on here for you on group sizes, and so you can look for that. But what I really want to pay attention to in this one, since we're doing an initial load development with this bullet and this powder and this brand new brass, is looking for the lowest standard deviation and extreme spreads with reasonable group sizes. Now, I'm not too worried about the group sizes because there's a thing called jump, and jump is the end of the bullet, how far it is, how far it has to go before it hits the lands of the rifling and engages the rifling. I should be about, I think it was 15 thousandths off the lands on this load. But I'm only about 17 to 18 thousandths off the end of the magazine length. And so that could be a limit. For ultimate accuracy, I could have to hand feed these one at a time, but we'll find out. But that'll be the next step. And so what I look for when I do that is not just small group sizes, but are standard deviations and extreme spreads that are small but repeat over different ranges. So in other words, if you have one powder charge, I don't want to have a bad load below it and a bad load above it because it's too narrow. These are 0.3 grain spacings between powder charges, so it's not a lot of room there to have a sensitive load. And so what I found out was when I moved into the 41.2 and the 41.5 target loads, things got a lot better. Okay, I mean, like a lot better. And so what do I mean by that? Well, here's the numbers on this target here at 41.2 grains, the first one. If you can see that there, a standard deviation of 2.5 feet per second and an extreme spread of 6.2. Now that's something to work from. But this is only one target. So I shot the same load again, and that's why I was shooting 2 5-shot groups. I had an idea what would shoot well in this gun. So now we have an extreme spread of just 3, and excuse me, a standard deviation of 3, and an extreme spread of 8.2. And so that's pretty solid. That's a solid powder charge, but is it the only one? Well, just below that, it was about at 40.9, it was a 12 standard deviation or something like that, which isn't bad, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. So the next charge, which actually is this target, is the first one we shot with it. Take a look at these. Well, that there is 2.4 standard deviation again, but now we're quite a bit faster, 20 to 25 feet per second faster or so than we were before. And so that's pretty good. It's 2.4 standard deviation, extreme spread of 5.6. And then we shot this one. And this is the last target up here in the corner. And it's a nice tight group. And again, I'll have those stats up before you see the group sizes. But it shows a standard deviation of 12. Why? Well, because there was one shot that was 20 feet per second different here than anything else. And so there had to be a mistake on my side on maybe the scale didn't zero, something didn't go quite right, because it was quite a bit different there. But we also had a max over 2,800 feet per second. So, I mean, standard deviation 12 is not bad, but when long range precision, that's not where you want to be. So you drop out the low, and what is that? Well, it's a 3.7 standard deviation. And so that's pretty awesome. So what that tells me is between 41.2 and 41.5, those two charges are tolerant of powder variation to a large degree. I mean, the worst one here is 12 standard deviation, and yet the group is still pretty good. That's at 100 yards, right? So don't take too much from that. But it probably means somewhere down lower than this, 41.5, in the 41.2 range, or excuse me, below 41.2, there could be a better group. Now, this 40.9 wasn't bad. It grouped pretty well here. And up there, I had one fly over and one fly up, but this group came in pretty good. Well, excuse me, I'm pointing the wrong target. 40.9 here and 40.9 here. So I had one fall out, a decent group other than that, but not, spectacular. But nonetheless, somewhere between probably say 41 and 41.5 grains is where we're going to find an accuracy node. So what's the next step? The next step is to load 2 different powder charges. I'll probably stay just off the max here and just over this and load up 2 or 3 powder charges, maybe 0.2 grains a piece or something in that range, and then play with overall length a little bit, which will adjust the jump. In the end, I'll measure the jump with this brass in the gun and calculate what it is. And I'll go from touching. I won't jam. I just don't like the idea of jamming in the lens, but some people do it. It's just not something I want to do. So I'll start with touching in the lens and then back off 0.003 in a series of steps and do maybe 4 or 5 steps like that. Maybe a little bit more. I'll have to decide on that. Maybe I'll do 5,000 steps back to make sure we get a difference here. But then do either 2 or 3 powder charges and we'll shoot this again. So look forward to that. It should be a fun challenge. It should dial this load in, but we'll find out for sure. We have a combination of powder, primer, bullet, and brass that's making some good velocity numbers. But let's see what we can do about tightening up the accuracy. Not bad, a couple decent groups, but I expect more out of this gun. So hopefully this has been something you enjoy. If you do, give me a like and subscribe, and we'll catch you later.